Good afternoon. This is American Night, checking in with you guys. It's been a little while since I put a video out. I've been extremely busy lately. I'm sitting here. We're getting ready to. I'll be going over to my boss's house. We're having a office cookout this afternoon, so I'm getting ready to go over there. I'm sitting here, and I'm just thinking, women, there's a lot of talk right now about the manosphere, about relationships between men and women. I've been through the ringer. I've talked to you guys about it before, but I was just sitting here thinking about it. And, I've heard people, I know more than some of these women think that I know. They look at me and they'll say, oh, well, he was just immature. No. Screw that. Screw that. No, that's not the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is. Let me give you these women don't understand what us guys go through. I don't think women understand it. When I was a teenager, I had really strong feelings for one girl in particular, but I always cared for people, and it wasn't even just. I think women think that it's just a physical attraction thing. I think that's all they think that it is, and sometimes it is that way. But I've had some very strong feelings for women, and it had very little to do with sexual attraction. I mean, I thought they were cute, but it was a lot more complicated than that. I'll be turning 50 next month, and I keep looking back on my life, and I'm just like, I have never in my life had a woman that's genuinely felt anything for me. And I've been married twice, and I'm including them on this. I don't think that I've ever meant anything to any of these women. And I think a lot of men feel that way. And I think that's a big, oops, sorry about that. I think that's a big part of I have my cord attached. I've got it plugged in. I think that's a big reason why a lot of men are checking out. I think a big piece of the reason that men are checking out of relationships is because we don't feel like women really care that much. We really don't. We don't feel like we really mean that much to them. We don't feel like, it just feels like the feelings, the actual feelings, the tenderness is all one-sided. It's feelings that men have for women. Women don't really care. I just never felt like I really meant that much to anybody at all. They were pretty much like, well, he's okay, but if it's him, fine. If it's not, fine. That's the attitude. That's the attitude, and it's like they don't really care that much. And I think somewhere along the line, I began to realize that, and it has backed me off of relationships entirely. I just, what's the point? What's the point in me being in a relationship with someone that really doesn't care that much? And I think this is something I've always struggled with, because I didn't want to be in a one-sided relationship. I didn't want to be in a relationship with someone that's, well, if it's him, fine. If it's some other guy, that's just fine too. They just don't care. They don't care. That has been a very disappointing thing for me about relationships. It really has been. I've just been, I don't know. I've, just very disappointed with it all. Man, maybe I was expecting too much, maybe I was. Maybe I expected too much. I've just been sitting here thinking about some of this stuff. I was remembering my first marriage and how I tried so hard at the beginning to, I was doing all these things. I was taking, I remember this one time, and I will never forget this. It was early in our marriage. I think we'd been married maybe a year or two. And I got off work early. I was still in college, but I was working part-time, and I got off work early that day, and I went home and I made a nice dinner. I went to the grocery store and I got some things for a nice dinner. I went home and I made dinner. I did the candlelight thing. I got all dressed up for her coming home, and she comes home and she just looks at me like I've lost my mind. She looks at me like I'm crazy, like I've lost my mind. And the whole evening, the dinner was weird. She's like, it's like she thought that something was up or something, or I don't know. But the whole thing, it was just weird to her. And I remember I took her when our first anniversary. I planned a trip to New York City because she was really into like musicals and things, but she had never been to Broadway. And I spent like 6 months buying little pieces to that trip. I was still in school, so I had a student discount on a lot of things, and so I was really scrimping and really piecing it together, trying to make all that happen. And we did it, and I took her to New York, and it was just a short weekend, like a 3-day weekend. We went up there, and we went to a couple of Broadway shows. We went to see Les Miserables, and we went to see The Lion King. I tried to get tickets to Phantom of the Opera, but at that time it was real popular, and it was sold out. But she was really into that kind of stuff, and I did that I did all these things trying to build some sort of bond, and my mistake was marrying somebody where there wasn't a bond in the first place. Being older and wiser, I'm really starting to realize that it's like I think this is the key to it all right now. This whole thing between men and women. Men don't feel like women care. And they keep proving that they don't care. That's a big part of the problem. It seems like women these days are just in it for money. I don't think that's all women, but I think a big chunk of women these days, men just think they're in it for money. And so men are just like, well, wait, that's not what we're looking for, but some women just want, oh, my contact's floating. Some women just want to get married. They just want to get married. They want to have the ring. They want to have their day. They want to be a wife to someone. But they're not really in love with us. I don't think they really care. And I think a lot of guys are picking up on that. And I think that's the problem. I think that's a big part of the problem right now. I don't know. Men and women are very different. Maybe our psychology is a little different that way. Our culture, I keep thinking about the way our culture is changing. Being the father of 2 daughters, and I'm thinking about my daughters, and I'm like, are they going to get married? Have children? I really don't know. I don't know if they're going to. The way the world's changed, that's becoming less important to people. I don't know what their lives are going to look like. I don't know. It's kind of sad because I grew up in a very different time, a different culture. It's just sad to see what it's all turned into. I look back on it, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. I wish I didn't think as negatively as I do right now. I feel very negative about all of that picture of things. I expected to find someone that genuinely loved me, that really wanted to be with me, and me specifically, not just any, I grew up Mormon, and it's like they just wanted to marry a return missionary. Any guy that had served a mission, they were fine marrying, but they weren't really in love with me. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I knew it. I knew it. Anyway, this is it's been kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but I've swallowed it. And it's like you just realize that you never meant anything to anybody. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I'm going to be 50 years old. I've probably got a good 20 years left. I mean, I'm sure I may live longer than that. My dad's 75. I don't know. I'm not intending to get into another relationship. I think relationships are kind of dead for me. I don't feel like anyone really cares. What's the point? So maybe that's dark. Maybe that's dark, but that's what I think. And the sad part is that's really what I think. That's really, to me, that's been my experience. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's been ever since I was a kid, since my teenage years. I don't really feel like anyone's ever really genuinely cared. I don't think I meant anything to anybody. My parents, my family, the people I grew up with. But that's basically it. Anyway, that's where I'm at. American Night signing out. You guys have a great day. I got to get going. I'm going to be going over it's 5:11. The picnic, the cookout start. I'm supposed to get there. I'll probably get there about half an hour, but I'm here in the grocery store parking lot, and I just don't really know what to think now. I'm gonna go over there. After I leave there, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna work on some goals of mine. I'm gonna have a conversation with my boss at the end of this month about my compensation. I'm gonna ask for a little bit more than usual this year. Not just my base pay, but I want to look at potentially getting some bigger bonuses, things like that. So I want to talk to him about that this month. We'll see. I don't know what his thoughts are going to be about that, but you all know that the cost of living is crazy, and they say, oh, well, inflation's 3 point something. Yeah, bull crap. Bull crap. I'm not buying that. Sorry. No. I'm planning on asking for a 5% increase in my base salary, but I'm even been kicking around talking to him about a 10% increase, just because I know the cost of living has gone up more than, I think 5% may be even low, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm just gonna have an open conversation with him. I've been really busting my butt the last year. Well, the last 3 years. I've been there for 3 years, but this last year especially, I've been picking up a lot of slack. So we'll see. We've had some turnover, things like that, and I've been filling in the gaps. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get going. You guys have a great evening. This is American Night signing out.